There are places in this world where the sun doesn't shine, even during the brightest of days. Places where the shadows linger long after the light fades, and the air feels thick with something unspoken, something wrong. I found one such place a few years ago. It changed me in ways I can't describe, and it left me with a story I've never dared share with anyone. Until now. It all started when I accepted an invitation to an old estate out in the middle of nowhere. The invitation came from an old friend, Lucinda. We had lost touch over the years, but when she reached out, I was eager to rekindle the connection. She had always been the adventurous type, the one who sought out mystery and danger, and I'd often found myself trailing behind her, wondering what lay hidden beyond the surface of things. Her letter was vague, almost cryptic. It spoke of a family reunion, of rediscovering the past, and of a place where secrets had been buried for generations. The estate was her inheritance. She told me, a mansion that had stood empty for years after the death of her parents. I wasn't sure why she invited me. She never gave much detail, but I couldn't resist.
Welcome to Room 13, where every story hides a secret, a place where the unknown comes to life, and the eerie is all too real. Here, we uncover the chilling tales that lurk in the shadows.
Been waiting for years. Finally, I arrived at the estate. The mansion loomed ahead, hidden behind an overgrowth of trees and vines. It stood on the edge of a cliff, overlooking a dark, churning river below. The building itself was a monstrosity, its stone walls cracked and weathered, the windows dark and uninviting. There was no sign of life, no lights flickering in the windows, and no welcoming sounds of birds or animals. The estate had a life of its own, one that felt more like a tomb than a home. I parked my car and stepped out into the cold, damp air. The ground beneath my feet was soft, almost like the earth itself was swallowing up everything it touched. I made my way to the door, where Lucinda was waiting. She looked the same as I remembered her, tall, with dark hair that framed her face like a shadow, and a smile that held a secret behind it. "You made it," she said, her voice barely a whisper against the backdrop of the wind. Her eyes glinted with something that was both inviting and dangerous. "Come inside." I followed her to the massive front doors, which creaked as they opened, as if the house itself was groaning under the weight of time. Inside, the air was cold and musty, and the dim light from the cracked windows barely illuminated the grand foyer. The walls were adorned with faded portraits, their eyes watching me with lifeless intensity. "This is it," Lucinda said, her tone almost reverent. "This is where it all started." She led me deeper into the house, and as we walked, the house seemed to shift. The floorboards creaked under our feet, and the sound echoed through the halls, as though the house was alive and responding to our presence. I tried to shake the unsettling feeling that was slowly creeping up my spine, but it clung to me like a shadow. We stopped in front of a large wooden door, which Lucinda opened without hesitation. Behind it was a narrow staircase that led down into darkness. "This is the heart of the house," she said. "The place where everything began. The place that holds a secret to my family." Without another word, she descended the stairs, and I followed her, drawn by the sense of mystery that had begun to consume me. As we reached the bottom, the air grew colder, and the smell of damp earth and mildew filled my nose. The walls of the underground chamber were lined with ancient stone, and the only light came from a few flickering candles placed haphazardly around the room. In the center of the room stood a large, ornate chest. Lucinda walked over to it, her footsteps echoing in the silence, and she knelt before it. "This is where it all began," she whispered, running her fingers over the intricate carvings on the chest. "This is where they kept the darkness." I watched in silence as she opened the chest. Inside, there was nothing but dust and cobwebs. But then, as the lid creaked open, a soft glow began to emanate from within, casting strange, flickering shadows across the walls. Lucinda's eyes widened, and I could see the fear in her expression. "It's here," she said softly, her voice trembling. "It's waiting." I stepped forward, drawn to the chest. My heart raced in my chest as I reached out to touch it, but before my fingers could make contact, a loud, guttural noise echoed from the depths of the house. It was a sound of something moving, something alive, and it was coming closer. The sound reverberated through the chamber, low and guttural, like the growl of something ancient and hungry. Lucinda froze, her hand hovering over the chest as though she feared that even the slightest movement would draw it closer. I could see her trembling, though her eyes remained fixed on the glow spilling from the chest. The candles flickered violently, their flames bending toward the staircase we had descended. The air grew heavier, pressing against my chest, making it difficult to breathe. Then, from the shadows at the edge of the room, I saw movement. Something shifting, slithering, dragging itself closer. Lucinda turned to me, her voice sharp and urgent. "We shouldn't have opened it. It's awake now." "What is it?" I whispered, though I wasn't sure I wanted the answer. Her eyes met mine, wide and filled with terror. "It's the reason my family never left this place. The reason they all disappeared. The darkness isn't just a secret, it's alive." The noise grew louder, accompanied by the sound of claws scraping against stone. I backed away instinctively, but the chamber seemed to close in around us. The shadows stretched, twisting into shapes that resembled faces. Faces screaming silently, their mouths open wide. Lucinda grabbed my arm. "We have to leave. Now!" We ran toward the staircase, but as we reached the first step, the door above slammed shut with a deafening crash. The chamber plunged into near darkness, the candlelight sputtering as though suffocated by the presence that surrounded us. A voice, deep and resonant, filled the room, not spoken but felt inside my head. "You open the chest. You belong to me now." Lucinda screamed, clutching her head, and I felt the words claw at my mind, pulling me toward the shadows. I fought against it, forcing myself to focus on the faint glow still emanating from the chest. Something inside me knew that the chest wasn't just a prison, it was also a key. I tore myself free from Lucinda's grip and stumbled back toward the chest. The glow pulsed, stronger now, as though responding to my presence. My hand shook as I reached inside, and instead of emptiness, I felt something solid, an object wrapped in cloth. I pulled it out, revealing a small, ornate mirror, its surface cracked but shimmering with light. The voice roared in fury, the chamber trembling as dust fell from the ceiling. The shadows surged toward me, but when I raised the mirror, the light flared, cutting through the darkness like a blade. The faces shrieked and dissolved, retreating into the walls. Lucinda gasped, her eyes wide with realization. That's what they hid. That's what kept it contained. The mirror's glow grew brighter, filling the chamber until the oppressive weight lifted. The guttural noise faded, replaced by silence so complete it rang in my ears. The chest slammed shut on its own, and the candles steadied, their flames burning tall and strong. We stood there breathless, staring at the mirror. Lucinda's voice was hoarse when she finally spoke. "You weren't invited here to join me. You were invited because the house chose you." I looked at her, confusion and dread twisting inside me. Chose me for what? Her smile was faint, sorrowful. "To keep the darkness locked away. My family failed. Now it's your turn." The weight of her words settled over me, heavier than the shadows had ever been. I realized then that I hadn't just stumbled into a forgotten estate. I had inherited a burden, one that would never let me go. And as I stared into the cracked mirror, I saw not my reflection, but the faint outline of something waiting, watching, and whispering from the other side.
Hey, the stories aren't over yet, but consider subscribing and leaving a like. With a simple tap on the screen, you help our work a lot. Now, without further ado, let's move on to the next story.